Hey everybody, it's George again. Welcome back to the channel. Uh, as you can tell from the background, I like old stuff and stuff from the past. And today I thought I'd do a video on some of the stuff that I kind of find neat and thought I'd let y'all make a guess. Some of it's easy and some of it, you can guess at what it is. But the first thing here is this is a grist mill, an old hand crank grist mill. And you put corn and stuff in here, and as you turn it, it comes out right here in this. This here cuts it up and grinds it, and you can adjust how big or how small you want with these little knobs right here. I've used this a time or two. It does really good on corn milling stuff, but I think it's something everybody ought to have one. Just laying around or maybe put in a shed if that, they talk about the power grid going down, they talk about going to war, all this stuff, and this here could be something awful handy to have. If something like that happened, you'd be able to process your own grain. Now, I have bigger ones, but for weight reasons, I brought a little one. This is a meat grinder. You take and put meat in the top of it. You grind. Well, this uh, the ground meat comes out this side. This ain't been used in a while, but you can it's got blades in here that you change to make it do thicker or thinner cuts, like how fine it's ground. And you can do hamburger meat, sausage, and all kinds of stuff with this. But it's a good way to grind meat. And right now, you go to yard sales and these antique stores. These are not expensive, but still, it's a kind of a neat thing to have around. Uh, this is a metal molten pedestal, and what you do is you put your seasons and anything like that you want to grind in here, and you just grind them. And it makes it makes it a little easier to grind your seasons. You could use an electric coffee grinder. I've used them, but I thought this is something neat that you can use without electricity. So I thought I'd add it to it. This is something way back. It's got a screen, and if you look, you can pull it back and you put it back over it. But what you done was you put popcorn in there and some oil, and then you stuck it in the fireplace, and you sat there and shook it above the fire to pop your popcorn. Still think it's a neat little invention, and I've actually popped popcorn on it on the stove. Just sat on the eye and done this till it popped my popcorn. But I had too much in mine, and it kind of got to being a mess. But you don't put a lot in here because it does pop and make a lot of popcorn real quick. Okay. Right here is another popcorn popper I have. I like popcorn, but if you look down in here, there's a little stick. Let me see if I can show you. As you turn this handle, there's a little stick that rakes the bottom of that pan. And that's what makes your popcorn keep from sticking. And you just pop that open to dump your popcorn out on this side here. This is the one you put your oil and stuff in, and you close it up. And then you just sit there with that on the eye, and you just turn it like this. And when you get done, you just dump it out this side, and that little lid will fly open. And then when you go to cleaning it, it's got a little handle right here you lift, and you can clean it. And there's the little stick. It stirs the bottom, and then you got the little pot. I thought this was neat. I think I actually found it at a Goodwill, maybe. And I thought I had to have that because I do like popcorn, and I like neat little tricks like this. Okay. This, they sell them now at the co-op and stuff like that. It's an older type thing, but they do still sell them. And what you do is you take this little cover off, and there's teeth, a scraper, and a blade right here. And you take an ear of corn and you just push it down through here to make cream style corn, and you just rotate it, push it again. And this is the absolute fastest way I have found to make cream style corn. Now, if you want to make whole kernel corn, you just raise this little blade right here up, and it will just cut the corn off. And but watch your fingers. Trust me, this will get you. But it's a neat little thing. It helps do corn a lot quicker. And if you don't have one, I think they're $15, $16 at the co-op. But they're not terribly expensive, but it will help you on a lot of time saving on cutting off corn and stuff, on your canning corn. This right here, I don't know if you can see it, it's got little wheels. And this here is what I use for a pasta cutter. When I'm making pasta, just lay this out and pull it through the pasta, and it cuts the pasta in even pieces. And this is a newer one. I have an old one over there, but I just didn't want to get it down. It's kind of on the walls of decoration. But this is a pasta cutter. It's what I use it for, and it works really good. But you never know when you can't get, pasta, and you might have to make your own. We will do a video sometime of making pasta if y'all want to. If it's something you're interested in, holler and let me know. We'll do this one next. This is an old drinking ladle. You dip it down in there, it's an old, and you drink. And people today couldn't stand to use this because everybody would share it. Everybody drunk out of it. And, you drink it if it's hot, pour it over your head and hand it to the next person. Next person dip in, get them a drink, so forth as it went on. But I seen this over, I think it was at the Jonesville Co-op, and bought it because I liked it. Now, this is an old tool. It's got two blades, and it's used for cutting kraut. You put your cabbage in a bowl, and you just mash and rock, and it cuts your cabbage in smaller pieces. Now, today I use a food processor because it's so much faster. But if you had to, you'd go back to this, and it would do a perfectly fine job. And these are sharp, and they can be sharpened a little bit. You don't want them razor sharp, but you do want them sharp. But that's a little kraut cutter from way back in the day. Okay, when I was growing up, this is how we cut kraut. We cut an old can off and left the edge of it sharp. We literally cut the top of it off, and then it made a sharp can. And you held this can, and most times they'd put a strap across it, and you just sat there and mashed it up and down into the bowl, and it cut the kraut up. And I still got these. I made these because of the way we done it when I was younger, and I just still thought it was a neat thing to have. But now these cans will cut you so quick, it ain't funny. So if you do try to make them, remember to put them by your kids' way, because, man, they will get a hold of you in a hurry. This here was an old biscuit cutter or cookie cutter. And it's got a place you can stick your finger in there to push it out. You push that down, you push it out. And it makes little biscuits or little cookies. But I've had it for a long time, and I just thought it was neat, and I wanted to bring it on here, but that's what it's used for. Now, yesterday, we used this to make the blackberry jam, and you literally put berries and stuff down in here, and you rotate this around, and the stuff comes out the bottom into your bowl below it, and it helps get the seeds and the peels and all that out of your berries, and you can mash about anything with it. But it just rotates around. If you look, it turned my little thing a right pretty red color where we used it yesterday. But these are neat. You can find them pretty easy still, but it's a nice thing to have, and it will make it easier for you on your canning. Now this does the same thing, but it's just made different. See, it's got this, and as you rotate it, the stuff goes under this side and gets mashed, and it pushes it through the bottom screen. And you just set this on a bowl, put your stuff in there, and just go to turning, and it'll do the same thing as that big one did. It's just a different version of it. But this one you can adjust the little spring and stuff, how tight you want it to be and how hard you want it to mash. But it's another way to process berries. You can do tomatoes and stuff like that with this. And the other one, if you're wanting to make tomato juice, these work real good for that. This is an old-timey measuring cup. I found this at an antique store, and it measures, let me find it, a half a cup, 1 cup, 1.5 cups, 2, and 2.5. Just an old-timey metal measuring cup, but I thought it was neat because most of them today is glass, and I think it's kind of like a little drinking cup, but I thought it was neat, and I wanted to show it to you. Okay, this here is something that's old, but no, it's not one of them things the Ninja Turtles use. Before you think, that's not what it is. This is one of my cutting boards. And what you do is, if you're cutting a ham or something like a turkey, you can put this through it to hold it, and it goes in that hole. And then you can take your knife and slice your meat without it trying to run all over the place. See, it holds it real tight. But that's what that's for. And we put this bone handle on it. But you don't see these anymore. You see this. But this was actually made like when people would make like if you do a smoker, you make that big chunk of meat, you're trying to slice it. You just push this through it into the board and go to slice it. It makes it a lot easier. This is an old-timey meat mallet. People used to take meat and see it's got like an upper lip here, and they would tenderize meat with it. They'd sit there and just, beat the meat to flat down like chicken or whatever, and steak, and that's an old-timey meat mallet. And I think it was in a piece I bought this like a collage of old stuff, but I still use it. I still think it's neat and it works real well. It'll beat a piece of chicken paper thin. Now this here isn't a kitchen item, but this is a candle hog scraper. When you're scraping hogs, instead of using a knife, you can use this to do it. And this was something that was used years and years and years ago, but it's kind of in where all this stuff is, and I brought it in here. But when you scald the hog, you pour the hot water on it, and the hair gets loose, you just take and scrape this both ways. And you can sharpen this a little bit, but it don't really need to be. And it will absolutely pull the hair off a hog. But I thought that was kind of neat. It's called a candlestick hog scraper. Now, a lot of this is newer stuff, but it's things that actually work good. This is a little thing that you put corn in, and it cuts the corn off the cob to make, like whole kernel corn on the cob. But now I found it best to put a cordless drill and put the corn ear on it and just go through it real slow, and it'll cut all the corn off. Just put it over your bowl, and the corn will just fall off of it because it's got these little teeth. I don't know if you can see them or not, but it's got little teeth there, and it will cut the corn off for you. This is a little tater peeler that looks like, you remember the old double-edged razors? but this will absolutely peel potatoes in a hurry. This here is another type of kraut cutter. You put your kraut in there and you cut it, you turn it, cut and turn, mash and turn it, mash and turn it. And it's got teeth made to help cut it, and this thing is sharp. But you just put your cabbage in a bowl and you set it down on the counter and you do this to make sauerkraut, or if you was making where people used to pickle a lot of stuff, they used to cut it with this. And it would work as a biscuit cutter if you was really needing a biscuit cutter. Speaking of biscuit cutters, here is an old biscuit cutter. Now this will tell you the difference in our biscuits and their biscuits. This looks like them little can biscuits about the size it cuts out. But you just roll your dough out and cut the biscuit out with this. And it's even got little holes in it in the top here where if your dough gets stuck, you can poke it out. But that's just a little old biscuit cutter. I thought that was kind of neat. Now here's a little invention. See how it's got all these? These are like little X-Acto knives. And I haven't even took the blue protective covering off this one. But what you do is you run this down the ear of corn when you're making cream style corn, and it splits the kernels. Then you just take your knife and cut it off. Or this instrument here, you run it down the corn, and it just cuts the corn off after it's been done this way. And this will do whole kernel corn also. But it's razor sharp. All this stuff is new. It's the newer ones of them. You can't, if you find the old stuff, I would buy it because I like it a lot better. But this is what I could get, so this is what I bought. This is an old can opener. And you just take and you literally just put this on the can. You pop it down in there and you just pick it up as you go, and it'll open the can. These actually work really well. And if the power's out, if you ain't got one of them crank can openers, these could come in real handy. Everybody's seen strainers. This is an old-timey colander. It's got legs on it. But you would set this down in the sink for your noodles or whatever you was wanting. Like yesterday, you could have poured that the blackberry stuff through there and help keep the seeds and stuff out of your juice. But this is an old colander. I rarely use this. It's probably older than me, but I liked it. Now here's something that a lot of people know what it is, but you probably don't have one. But I think it's a good idea to have one. It's a wind-up clock. You just wind it up, set your time. It still clicks. It still works perfectly well. As long as you don't overwind it and break that spring, this here should last forever. This one actually has the glow-in-the-dark hand, so at night you can look over and see what time it is. But it's not digital. You have to learn to read a clock. But it's got a little knob right here. You pull out and you can set an alarm, and it'll go off, and it rings like little bells. And right here, this other one is how you set your time on it. See, you can make it to what time it is. And the other one, if you leave it in, I don't think you can see it, but there's a gold hand in there right about the 12. See it move? Going to the 11, that's how you set the time for your alarm. And this would go off at 11 o'clock. The time isn't accurate, but during the winter, when our power is bad to go off, and I'll keep this beside my head, beside my bed in there, and that way I know what time it is, and if I need to get up, it can help me get up. Okay, we've spent about looks like we're going on 20 minutes on these, so that's all we'll do today. It's just I thought I'd come around and show you some little things I have. It's gadgets and gadgets, but I'll end the video. I hope y'all enjoyed this. Think about it. It might be something you want to make an investment in. Buy some of this stuff. they're not real expensive, and they're really, really handy. All right, y'all have a good day. Have a blessed day. Be good to each other, and we'll see you on the next video.